these products don't have good product managers, maybe we wouldn't have been able to use them, or maybe even like them, or even hear about them. Okay, so the success of every product lies in its management. Okay, so that's why this topic, we consider it very, very crucial. So whether you're a developer or you're a product enthusiast, product management enthusiast, or a product manager, this is a very interesting topic everybody needs to learn. So today we are going to be looking at the A to Z of it. I'm really excited. When I hear A to Z, I feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be learning a whole lot, like A to Z of the thing. Wow. Okay, so we'll be looking at that today. And right here we have a very interesting guest. On her Twitter, she goes by your favorite PM, you know, so I guess we'll have to find out why she's our favorite right here. So she's no other person but Faith Dike, and she's a product manager with Postagraph, and she's right here with us today, and she's going to be taking us through the A to Z of product management. So Faith, please, can you introduce yourself to the house?
Hi, hello, good evening.
Hello.
So my name is Faith. I'm a product manager. Like Amarchi just said, I currently work with Postagraph. Amarchi, it's so nice to meet you, and so nice to meet every one of you.
Yeah, we are so glad to have you here. You're welcome. You're welcome. So before Faith continues with her session, we have a very juicy announcement to make, and it's very, very juicy. So please listen attentively. Faith has a product management course which she entails to give out to one person who is in attendance today. That's someone currently in this webinar is going to be receiving a product management course. Okay, so get ready, be attentive. I hope you have your pen and paper ready, because that will be one of the criteria for winning this product management course. So that's that about that. So please be attentive, listen attentively, write, jot down notes and all that. You can also make tweets using the hashtag SCA webinar. Okay, tweet about the things you've learned, or the things you've the new points you've gathered from the session. Okay, so we're going to be getting right into it. Faith, over to you.
Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen right away. Okay, I think I would have to give I'll have to give my browser access to share my screen, so I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen. Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Okay, like I told you before, my name is Faith Dike, and I'm a product manager at Postagraph. Today, I'll be taking you on A to Z of product management. So product managers, I know that you've heard about product managers or product management, and maybe you know what we do, maybe you don't know. That's why we're here to find out. Some people say we are very annoying. I know most of the developers here would say product managers, they're back again. So trust me, product management is a very, very interesting field. I hope you get as excited as I am being a product manager. So there are a couple of things that you need to know. First of all, you're not a manager of anyone because product manager has a title, product manager, a manager, and it doesn't mean you're a manager of everyone. You're actually not a manager of anyone. You are an enabler, right? And you're totally responsible for the success of your product. So now, as a product manager, there are a couple of things that you need to know about. So, as a product manager, you sit in the middle of user experience, you sit in the middle of tech and business. So, which means that you have to know a bit of user experience, mixing up with technology and business, because for you to build a product, you have to consider your customers and how they interact with your product, and at the same time, you're looking at the technology side of things. Okay, what technology is suited for the kind of product I'm trying to build? Why are we even going to use that? And also, you have to think about the business. Okay, fine, we have a product to build, we have a very good user experience. How do we make money for the business in the long run? You have to put all those into consideration as a product manager. You have to do the thinking of these three. That's why being a product manager, you sit in the middle of this. So this is like the core of what you do as a product manager. So I have a couple of people who defined product manager. So I have here Martin. He says a good product manager must be experienced, at least in one, passionate about all three and conversant with practitioners and all, right? And Marty used the word product managers as strategic. So he says your job is to deliver a product that is valuable, usable, and feasible. So I have someone else here who says product managers are persistent. So you're articulating what a winning product looks like, you're rallying the team, you have to iterate on the product until everyone gets it right. So I have someone else, Dana. She says product managers are collaborative. You don't have to know all the answers, sure, that's because you're going to be working with multiple teams as a product manager. You're interacting with your stakeholders, you're interacting with developers, you're interacting with the marketing team, you're interacting with sales, you're interacting with customer care. So you should know how to learn how to have a very seamless and smooth conversation with all the parties involved in launching your product, and from the inception stage, the development stage, to the launch stage, to the post-launch stage. You have to have like a full idea, and you have to know what team comes in at what point. Because if you're launching a product, you have to think about what the legals are. So let's say you're building a fintech product and you're managing a fintech product here in Nigeria, right? You have to think of, okay, what are the rules in place? What's CBN saying about this? You have to follow up with the legal team to know what CBN newsletters are coming out, because you don't want to beat something that has like regulatory problems and stuff like that. Yes, it doesn't really affect the product, but well, indirectly it does, because you don't want to ship out a product that break the rules of maybe your target environment and stuff. So, so the big question: what is a product? A product can be anything. A product can be a hardware. A product can be a software. A product can be a combination of both of them. So if software would be the likes of Facebook, Twitter, hardware can be your laptops, your phones, your iPads. It could be also a combination of both. So like maybe for example your smartwatch. So right, it is a hardware device that connects to a software. So it's both hardware and software. So you can be a product manager for any of them. So a product can be anything. So when you have a product, then you begin to delve into questions like, what problem am I actually trying to solve? What exactly is the product vision? What do customers actually want? What is actually doable right now? Because there are a whole lot of things, but you should know that, okay, this is the right product for the right time and it's market fit. So now you're also thinking, what would help us meet our business objectives? So by the time you're able to narrow down and answer these questions, it helps you to plan and streamline what you have to do as a product manager. So as a product manager, you have a couple of responsibilities. The first thing is to set a product vision. So you have to determine who is this product for, and you have to state what the need or what's the opportunity for that particular product. Then you have to give it a name. Then you have to select is a product category, maybe it's a consumer social, maybe it's fintech, maybe it's insurance. And you also have to think of what the benefit of my product is. You don't want to ship out a product there without even knowing what the benefit is to the user who's going to use it or to your customer. And you also have to think of, okay, now I'm launching this product. What are the other products that are in the market? The ones that are my primary competitors, the ones that are my secondary competitors, the ones that are my either direct or indirect competitors. You have to think about that, because you also have to know, okay, what are people even saying about these other products that they're using? What are they? What did they expect the product to have? What did they like? What did they not like? And maybe you think of what the behavior of the user is around a particular product. Then it now brings you down to say, okay, because you've thought about all this, what exactly is our product doing? What's differentiating factor? What is gonna make our product different from other products that are out there? So you have to think about this. You have to do the whole ideation and all. So now, ideas. Trust me, as a product manager, there are gonna be ideas. Ideas from your team, ideas from stakeholders, ideas from developers, ideas from everybody. But the truth is, it's your responsibility to determine what good ideas are and what bad ideas are. You have to put it in the middle, because we can't take you can't take all the ideas that you've ever thought about for a particular product and just run off into implementation like that. You most likely hit a block, because you should always know that there are ideas. And some ideas can be good, some ideas can be bad. You just have to know the one that works for your product. Because remember that we've defined what the product is, the product vision and stuff. So you have to know what works for your product, and you have to know what should come out at the right time. So now, another responsibility is prioritize. The truth is, if you don't plan as a product manager, you're going to fail. Honestly, I've had times whereby I move into doing stuff and I didn't think about it twice and it crashed, right? And I've also had times whereby I know that I plan and I execute. And also you also have to know that sometimes you plan and things can go south. Like, the software world is very volatile. If you intend to be a software product manager, software world is very, very volatile. You can have a plan for a full month and something happens, they release a policy, something just goes wrong, and you have to find a way to, like, think on the fly. You have to think on the fly. You have to find a way to re-strategize, and you have to kind of reprioritize what you have to do on the backlog and stuff. You have to think, plan on the fly, because you don't really have. So we're gonna take for example, so Zoom as a software. Maybe I think I heard they were doing over. I did. They have maybe over, like, is it 10,000 or thereabout users before the lockdown. Then when coronavirus hit, then there was like very increase in the usage of Zoom. People were trying to use Zoom. If you can remember, like in the first 2 weeks of when the lockdown was at its peak, you remember that people were complaining with the software, because I mean the traffic that they were getting at that point in time, they didn't even plan to get it. You get it? So this kind of situation, you could say, okay, fine, this was we're planning this month, and things just happen that are beyond your control. Or remember what in Lagos, for people in Lagos, you remember when Lagos state government released a ban on bikes on the road. Nobody knew that was coming, right? You just have to find a way to iterate, think very fast. You don't Because you don't want your product to die, right? So you have to find a way to think fast and move very fast. So as a product manager, you should be able to plan, you should be able to strategize at every time, you should be able to prioritize. You should know what is important now and what is important later. I mean, you should know what should go into a particular launch, and you should know what things that should come in post launch. And you should also have your reasons too, because as product manager, you're definitely going to have stakeholders that you're going to be reporting to, and you don't want to go to your stakeholders without facts or without data, right? So it's best to plan, it's best to prioritize. It helps you a whole lot as a product manager. So what I do, I have a hack. So when I wake up every week, I have a plan for the week. Before I go into a month, I try and have like a goal of what I want to achieve that month. And as the week goes by, I try to break it down. Okay, this is what I want to achieve at the end of the week. So as I walk into a Monday, I know that, okay, fine, this is what I want to get done at the end of Monday. I plan it at the beginning of the day. Yes, it might not go as planned 100%, but it's also good to know that you have something that you're working with it helps you a whole lot because you're the person who is organizing your full team. You're the person who's telling developers, okay, what the expectations are, because you're the person who how will I put it? You're the person who is managing everybody's expectation. Because if a product fails or succeeds, it's on the product manager. Even if somebody broke something, even if somebody pushed something that they were not supposed to push, even if you told them not to do it and they did it, if it comes out bad, it's the product manager's fault. And if it comes out good, oh well, sometimes they'll say it's your team. They won't say it's the product manager anymore. Right? So another responsibility of the product manager is lead the product to execution. Now you can see whereby you have to have an execution plan. You have to have a plan from the onset. So, okay, fine. This is what we are trying to achieve for this, maybe for the first version or for this sprint. If you're in an agile environment, so you have to know, okay, fine. This is what I want to achieve at the period of the first month, or maybe I have a plan to go live at the end of the first quarter of the second quarter, and this is what I want to go live with. Okay, now you have to break it down. So, okay, fine. What are the things that are required for me to go live at this particular point in time? So you begin to break everything down into like different little small chunks. So at that point, you now begin to assign, okay, fine, this is what the expectation of this particular team is, or the design team, this is what I need you guys to do at this period of time, and you start. So it is better to like break everything down and inform the team of how whatever they're doing affects the other team and how it affects the business. Because I've heard a lot of people complain that, oh, product managers, they just like giving deadlines and stuff like that, and they just come and give two deadlines and 2 weeks, 1 week. They're not just thinking about the product and stuff like that. Oh well, so I try to try something right with my team. So I don't tell them about the deadline per se. I tell them what the importance, why I need it out as soon as possible. If something comes up, so I have to tell them, okay, this is what we are trying to achieve. This is what the goal is. This is what's at risk, right? So if it's better they're informed, because sometimes people just go in and they just give timelines like, I need this done in 2 weeks without a reason. But if you're telling your team, okay, this is why we need this thing done in 2 weeks, or okay, let's go about this way, or let's go about this that way. This is the reason why. Okay, or we're looking that, okay, maybe something is happening at this point. Okay, let's say people that has maybe people that are into the travel business, right? You know that, okay, fine, there are peak times in the year when people travel, and there may be a couple of things you want to do during those peak times. So maybe peak times like the December, January period, or the August period, or the April period, where you know that people are doing a whole lot of travels, right? You should let your team know that, okay, look, we need to push out this particular feature before April or before December, because a lot of people will be traveling and you want them to use a particular feature. If you get to explain to them the reason why they need to do what you want them to do in a shorter period of time, they will understand. And they can, at that point, you guys can even come to the table and say, okay, fine, you see, from what you just said, this is what is possible and this is what is not possible, right? At least everybody knows that, okay, this is what we have to do and this is why we're doing it. It gives them like a guide. It gives them like an idea of why you ask them to do whatever they're doing. So, and as well as a product manager, you're not just looking to launch a product. You have to know what happens, even what the marketing guys are doing. So you are going to work hand in hand with the marketing team and the sales team, because somebody cannot be marketing a product that you have not really fully informed them about. So you also know what these teams are that you're working with and what their roles are. It's very, very, very important. It's also good to also tell them, okay, this is what my expectation would be, and XYZ and stuff like that. You can also sit with these teams and say, okay, fine, look, in our first month of going live, we want to have over 100K users. Now the question, it now begs the question, how do you want to achieve the 100K users? Do you want to get, if it's a product, do you want to get sales agents? Do you want to do online marketing? What channels do you want to use to do your online marketing? Do you want to do it on Twitter? Do you want to use influencers? Or however, but it depends on the product in question. So you just cannot wake up and just say, okay, fine, I think we should do Instagram ads, or I think we should do Twitter ads for no just cause. Right? So it's being you talking to your marketing team and telling, okay, fine, maybe this product is for Gen Zs and millennials. Okay, where can we find this kind of people? Oh, most of them are on Twitter, right? Or most of them are on Instagram, or most of them are on Snapchat. Or, oh, no, this product is for the elderly people, the people in their 50s, 60s. Are you going to see them on Twitter? So imagine if you have a product that is for 50s, 60s, 70s, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're going to market to them on Twitter, right? Maybe these same people, most of them are on Facebook. Some of them are even on WhatsApp. So you have to think of how to reach your audience. It's not just a because I think Twitter is the thing right now or Instagram is the thing right now. That's where we're going to put our money when it comes to doing ads. If you're doing online ads, so you have to be in constant communication with your marketing team for that to happen. Because building a product takes a whole lot, from the planning phase to the development phase to the launch phase to the post-launch phase. Just a whole lot of activities that go around this. So now, after building, you have to ship. Like I said before, you have to ship whatever you've built, and you have to after shipping, you have to go and get feedback. Feedback is really, really important. Yeah, they're good feedback and they're bad feedback. You have to gather them. You have to know. You have to find a way to track your metrics. You have to find if you're working on maybe like web, if your software you're managing is on the web, you have to like track, okay, what's the registration per day, what are the number of active users. You have to understand to try to drop your KPIs, because after launch it helps you to make a decision. Trust me, once upon a time I launched a product, right? And in like 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 to 3 weeks into that product being out in the market, the company decided to do a pivot. Crazy. This was not something that was planned before now, but after launching this product into the market, people's behaviors changed. That people reacted with the product in different way that we thought, oh, they're not going to react to it. So you at that point you have to find a way to plan what happens after you launch, because we think it's juicy after you launch, but I think that's where the hard work starts. If you think building a product is hard, try launching one, right? So after the launch, it could get crazy, it could get juicy, it could get risky. Sometimes you really can't control what happens after you launch. But the good thing is you have the ability to get the information, okay, get the feedback, are the customers satisfied, what did they like, how many minutes they spend trying to register. Or somebody was trying to register for like 5 minutes, someone tried to register in after 5 minutes and left the app and didn't come back anymore. You have to try and find a way to use. There are a lot of analytic tools and measurement tools that you can use to track what the behavior of your users are when you launch a product, because it helps you make a decision on what next to do. And after you've collected feedback, after you've hydrated, after brought everything back to the drawing board, and you've done the implementation again, then you'll have the chance to ship. The truth is, this ship again is a continuous process as far as I'm concerned. You are going to continue to ship and reship and ship again. There's really no, unless you want to kill the product, there's really no end, because at that point you have to innovate around your users. You have maybe 100K users. How do you grow your users from 100K to 200K? How do you retain the users you have? You have to think of what your retention plan is like if you don't have one. Even before you launch, you should actually start putting out what your retention plan is from the onset. How do I intend to retain my users? I don't just want to launch and have 1,000 people or maybe 100K downloads in the first week, and after that everything drops. Right? How do I intend to engage with my users? How do I intend to keep them coming back to our product? Because the truth is, there's this analogy that we use. It's called a toothbrush. So with the toothbrush analogy, right, you get to use your toothbrush every day, twice a day or once a day. At worst case, once a day. You get to use your toothbrush every day. So imagine, so now relate that analogy back to your product. Having people use your product every day means they're obliged to use your product every day, because either they've seen the value and the benefits of using your product. So whenever you build a product, think of it like that. Oh, are people going to use the product every day? Am I even going to use the product? Because sometimes when we build products, we tend to see if, oh, okay, no, maybe I'm not even a potential user. I have a rule. My rule is that if I can't really use the product, then I can't properly manage it. If I don't see myself as a potential user, then I can't really manage it, because I don't want to use a product that is out there and I'm not using it. So it doesn't make sense, right? So there's always going to be the loop of shipping and reshipping again, and that's why you see Twitter say updates, add more features, they still push updates, and no matter how big the app is, everybody's pushing updates at every time. So as a product manager, right, it's easy if you maybe as an aspiring product manager, It's easy to transition if maybe you're into product managing or software development, or maybe you're doing customer success, or maybe you're into UX design or UI design. It's easier to do a transition because you already understand how technology works, or how what happens in the software, especially if you're transitioning into being a software product manager, right? It's easy for you to transition from these roles because you have more like a bearing idea. Because when I started out as a developer first. I started out by writing PHP, C Sharp, and even doing Unity before I pivoted into project management, and I finally pivoted into product management. So you just have to having a background idea and knowledge about this field. It gives you more like an edge. It doesn't still guarantee that you're going to be very good or you're going to be the best, but it just gives you an edge. So being a great product manager requires some serious people skills, because your job is to communicate with people. You're always in constant communication with people. You're always trying to manage expectations. You're in the middle of everything, right? And you're going to be talking to people. So there are days when you should try and minimize how you lash out, right? Once upon a time, I used to lash out. I get angry about we plan, we do stuff, and somebody's doing the exact opposite of what we agreed that we're going to do. At times you get to lash out even without you knowing. But you should also understand that everybody on your team, they're all humans first. So you should also understand that look, you're managing the people first before the product. You have to manage them. You have to manage your dev team to understand that they are people too. They are not just robots who are built to code. So in as much as you can have bad deals, you should try not to, because so some days you can go into meetings with your stakeholders and things are not going well, right? And maybe most likely you get lashed out, or maybe you can be told in a subtle way, you can be told in a harsh way. It depends, right? So you go into a meeting with your stakeholders and you realize that you're getting lashed out because of how the product is coming up, and you know fully well that you're trying to do and handle the situations very well, or you know that something that you're maybe planned and some people are not doing what they have to do at the right time and stuff like that. You shouldn't go back and take out the same energy on your team because it's a negative energy. If you dispel that kind of negative energy to your team, then it most likely will not come out nice. So you should understand that you're talking to other people, even if you're talking to customer or sales or the marketing team or the developers or the DevOps or the designers. You just have to know that, hey, look, these people are individuals first before whatever product or project they're working on. Then, like I mentioned before, you're managing expectations over deadlines. That's the truth. If your stakeholder says, okay, fine, we want to get this product out in X amount of time and that, fine, they're giving you a deadline, but they have an expectation. So they expect that the product is supposed to behave and perform in a particular way, right? So what that means is that you're actually managing their expectation in other than managing what the deadline is, right? So it's expectations over deadlines. You're managing the expectations of stakeholders, you're managing the expectations of your devs and stuff. And you are the cheerleader. You are the cheerleader. Even if there are times when you have to make tough decisions. I know there are times when recently I've had to let go of people on my team. And that's because, as much as, we are good and fine, but I know that there's an incompetency problem. And if there's an incompetency problem on your team, and you know that, okay, someone used to perform at 100, and the person is performing at 20 right now, the first thing you should do is try and find out what the problem is. Maybe they might even be going through some personal problem. Maybe they need time out of work. Maybe they have a burnout time. If you don't communicate with the people you're working with, you most likely never know, right? But if you find out that, look, this person is actually incompetent, not like there's a problem, the person can't actually do the job, even if the person said they could do the job, there are times like that you just have to let go of people. You just have to make up your mind to make that tough decision whereby, this person, I've built a good relationship with this person, but I may just have to take the tough decision just to let you go, because I can't see the value you're bringing to the product. I can't see the value you're bringing to the team. I can't see the value that you're bringing at all in what you do. So those kind of times will be there where you have to stand and you have to make those kind of decisions. And it's just what comes to being a product manager. And another thing I have to point out that try to celebrate your little successes. So try to encourage people you're working with on your team, because these guys, sometimes they go fast stretch trying to meet up whatever we've told them. It's good to encourage them. Buy them pizza, lunch, pay for their lunch. It could be small at least, but they're glad, right? Try and check in, hey, how far, what's up? We can have other chatty conversations that maybe are not really work related or stuff like that. Try and check in. It just shows that you have their interest and not just the interest of your product. At least it doesn't give you off as a selfish product manager. So there are some criteria of being good or great product managers. So you're naturally curious. You should be very curious. You have your curious glasses on all the time. Okay, why is this working like this, or why is this happening like this, or why is this happening, or why is that happening? So something happened some months ago, and there's this particular game I like playing. I'm a gamer, so I like to play games. And I realized that they did a release. It was just a release. I thought maybe it was just people that are waiting for that particular release. And I noticed that for like a week, right? I couldn't log into their servers to play game, right? So 2 weeks later, I read on the news that they had the highest number of people playing game at the same time ever in history. That is like 20, they had over 20 million people trying to play game at the same time. So I had to go in and read about like what their technology and how that worked, because I'm like, that's crazy. That's like times two or times three of what they normally get at the same time. Like, I was just curious. It's not because of anything. I'm just curious. I'm just curious to know what's happening. Even times when I use my other competitor's product, I'm like, oh, why is this happening like this? I'm curious to know why this happened, or maybe if something changes. So I have this habit whereby if there's an update on any app that I'm using, I am, no matter how tiny it is, I get to spot it. Why did they change this? Oh, this color changed a little, or they added something here. Or why did they change this thing? Or did they write an article? Someone like a company like Uber would write a long article of why they are changing something or why they're doing stuff, or even if they want to carry out a survey. Once upon a time, Uber carried out a survey on just their search. I think their search. They have other parts of the app, but they carried out their survey on just their search. So I had to go and dig further on why did they have to do that, right? So being curious as a product manager is really really important. So like I've talked about, you have to know and learn how to manage people. Is very important, and you have to be creative. You have to be humble. You have to be inquisitive. You always have to see the big picture every time. See the big picture. You have to be practical. You have to be deliberate, and you have to be really, really, really organized. You have to be super organized. Like I think I mentioned earlier about planning. You have to be super, super organized. And the last thing is you have to be very passionate about the product you're building. You have to be passionate. You have to believe in the product you're building, because you can't manage a product or you can't build a product without actually believing in the product itself. So you, as a product manager, you have to try at every point in time, try and believe in what you're trying to do or what you're trying to manage. So there are different types of product managers. There are internal product managers that are people who manage softwares that are used internally. Like, those are the internal product managers. And there are other product managers, like the consumer product managers. So these are the people who manage it. We call them the B2C. The people who manage products like maybe like the Twitter, the Facebook, those are like direct end users. And there's the B2B product. So the B2B, so business to business. So a company like Oracle right now is a business to business product, right? Whereby as a business, you're actually serving a business. And there are also products like B2B2C. So B2B2C, let's say I'm a company who maybe we sell HR softwares, right? The people who are going to use the HR softwares are the HR team in another company, right? But the people who are actually going to buy that software is going to be the management. So management is buying the software, but HR, they're using the software. So you're selling to B2B2C, right? So in this case, you have to understand who is buying and who is using, right? So that's the three major types of product managers. And now I'm going to ask her one question. People ask me, "Oh, what's wrong between a product manager and a project manager?" Almost all the time, right? So now product managers are responsible for the success of a product. So they are responsible for accomplishing a goal and turning out a product. But a project manager is just responsible for turning out a piece. So I can have a big goal, right? And there are tiny other goals that I need to achieve for me to get the bigger goal. So project managers are in charge of those tiny bits, right? In helping the product manager accomplish that goal. And the product manager is telling the project manager that, okay, look, we want to do an integration with, so let's say maybe a banking app. We want to do an integration with WhatsApp. I need you to lead the integration with WhatsApp. So that is, and I need this to be done within a period of maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm giving you this amount of resources. Resources could be money, it could be people. I'm giving you this amount of resources. I'm giving you this timeline. I want you to achieve just a part of it, right? So project managers in some companies, they don't really have a say of what happens in the product, right? They just receive like instructions from whoever their leads are. They don't really control what happens on the product. They don't really control the business side of things. They're not really interested in what the revenue is like, how the product is going to make money. No. That's really not their business. Theirs is just execution. So I'm bringing you in to just come and execute a particular type or a goal. That's the difference between a product manager and a project manager. Now, how do I get it? First thing is there are a whole lot of courses online, right? There are a whole lot of courses online that you can take. There's Udemy, there's Udacity, there's EDX. There are a whole lot of places you can take introduction to being product managers. Also, you can also volunteer. You can volunteer to manage a product. If you are in the software space, it's easy for you to assume that role because one, if you're a dev, you're working on a product. I've worked with developers who they only understand what you ask them to work on. That's just their piece. Well, that's good. But if you know that you want to transition to being a developer, you have to understand how every piece connects, how all the dots are connected, why you're every day what you're doing. You have to try and even if you have a current product manager, you can try working with the product manager and okay, fine, okay, I have my own stuff to do, but I want to take some things off the table. What can I do for you? And stuff like that. You can only learn if you're always gonna wait to say, okay, I'm trying to get that product manager title first before I assume the role of a product manager, then maybe you might be doing it the wrong way. If you're in the software space, it's easy to assume that product manager role, right? You can easily just reach out to your product manager or someone who's a lead and decide to work with them, regardless of whether you're being a designer or whether you're a developer or whether you're a QA, whether you're a data analyst, or whatever your role is. It's easy to assume this role. And you can also take certifications. And like I said before, you can always manage products. Okay, so I think this is the end of my presentation. I don't know if I have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much for that session. Please, if you have any question, kindly use the comment section, okay? We have very few minutes to go, so let's be fast about that. But then I really enjoyed this session. Like, oh my God, this is really the A to Z of product management. And it looks to me like product managers are somehow in the middle of every product. Like, I think they are just there in the center. There's nothing that can go on in a product that passes them by. I never knew that was their role. Like, wow. So please,
Yeah.
if you have any questions, drop it in the comments and Faith will take them. So Faith, you have a question. Are there any tools you recommend for planning and organization, especially for independent data or small teams?
Okay. Just before I go into answering the question, I think I have one question to ask. So I want to ask a
Okay.
question. So I'm eager to see what the answers would be. But I'm assuming that everyone here are either product managers or have interest in product management or aspiring product managers. So I want someone to tell me, why are you interested in being a product manager? Why are you interested in being a product manager? So I'm going to read the questions as we go along. And I'll be sharing a link. I have a drive where I correct, I update with any books that I see that are interesting books around product management and managing products in general. So I'll be posting the link to the chat group. You can go in there and download. I have about 15 or 20 books, so you can go there and download resources if you need them. Okay, so yes, I can start with the questions where I get other people's response to my answer to my question. Hello, Amarty, can I go on?
Okay, yeah, you can go on. Should I read out? Okay, let me read it again. Okay, so others can gain from it. So the question is, are there any tools you recommend for planning and organization, especially for independent diva or small teams?
Well, different strokes for different folks. So I want to the tool I use currently that I've really liked is I use Choir. I don't know if you know about Choir, but I use Choir. That's what I do. I used to do like my organization, and then there's a tool called Product Plan. It helps you plan out plan out a product, and you can also use your basic to do apps and stuff like that. So you can create your to do apps, or better still, use jotters. You can write out everything you want to achieve, and you can put them up for you to do, or you can use sticky notes, as basic as sticky notes. Really, write them out, stick them around your workspace, or maybe and stuff like that, and you can check them off your list as you go.
Okay, all right, thank you. I hope you got that. I hope that answers your question, Kiruka. So we have another question. How do we know when to go the MVP route? That's by Kelly.
Wow, that's a very. I think every product should. I think this was my opinion. I think every product should go through the MVP route because it helps you to even define what you're trying to build. You don't want to throw out 100 features at your customers, at your new customers. You don't even know if they're going to like it or not, right? So it's better to get out something that completes the core action of your product. So then you can build on that. So I'm going to give you what a core action is. So let's say for a product like for example, Google Meet. What's the core action of Google Meet? The core action of Google Meet is getting people together to have meetings online. Every other thing is secondary. That's the core action. So how can I get people to achieve the core action? Because you realize that people spend so many years trying to develop a product, and at the end of the day, people don't get to use it because they built in 1,000 things. You just end up confusing. You just end up confusing your users, right? It's good to like start lean, right? Get out. I mean, Facebook didn't grow out to be the Facebook that we know right now. It was just for sharing posts and images and stuff. And now they've built a whole lot. They built a chat. They've built out the chatting module out. Their messenger is standing on its own. There's Facebook rooms. There's video calling. There's all this product. They didn't just throw it out there at once. So it's better to just start out lean. Know what your core action is. So a company like Twitter, their core action first is we want people to tweet because we need to get people to tweet. Then that's when the likes and the retweets come from. That's where people get to reply and stuff like that. So you have to find a way to know what your core action is of your product. I want people to do X, Y, Z. I don't know if that answers your question, Kelly.
Well, I hope it did. I hope it did. Let's take one more question, okay? We have very limited time. So any difference between, okay, this is still Kelly. I guess we should take someone else's question, right? Please, Kelly, permit that, please. All right. Okay, so Maggie is asking, what's the minimum lifespan of a product, or when is it a good time to shift a new product and drop the old one?
So I may want to get more context. So when you say ship a new product, are you saying you want to abandon what you built before, and you're doing a 360 route or a 180 U-turn, and developing a new product, or what exactly? But you should also know that there are different stages of a product, and there's also a point where you have to completely kill a product. The different products that we've seen that we've used and after a while they were killed. So you have to know when to kill the product if that's what you're saying. But and also you also have to know when to so as a product manager, there's something called you have to have a plan. Like I said before, or like I said earlier, you have to have a plan as a product manager. You have to know what you want to ship out at every point in time. You have to know that, okay, fine, in my plan, I have maybe like a plan for the year. At the end of the first quarter, this is what I want to achieve. So at the end of the first quarter, you have to be reviewing if you met up with your plan, if you want to add, remove, or this way you have to know how to prioritize and reprioritize. Okay, maybe in the course of maybe something happened, maybe something that happened without that you couldn't control. You have to know, okay, fine, I have to re-strategize, I have to remove this, I have to bring back this and stuff like that. So I remember when the whole coronavirus thing became like serious. I think WhatsApp they had to increase the limit of their video calling at once. It was 4 before, but they increased it to 8. And I think on the messenger, you can get like up to like 50 people with the messenger rooms that they have right now. That's because they realized that, okay, look, nobody planned for a pandemic, right? But in the midst of a pandemic, people have to communicate, and people have to communicate in large numbers, right? That's most likely why they introduced that feature of having to allow plenty people be on a call at the same, having a video call at the same time, because they're trying to foster communication. So it just depends on the state of the product and what your plans for that particular product is.
All right, thank you. Please, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Faith via Twitter. Faith, please, you can drop your Twitter handle right here on the comments so they can follow you and ask the question, because we won't be able to take all of them. And we have some answers, so I think you might want to start looking at them right now.
Okay.
Okay, we have a couple of answers to your question. We have about 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm actually going through them.
Yeah, so Kelly Online is asking, would we get the resource slide?
Oh yeah.
We'll be the recorded version. That's this meeting will be recorded and sent to you. Then the slide might as well be added to it. Okay. All right, thank you everybody. Okay, so please, I know this session has been very insightful, so please feel free to spread the word, talk about everything you've learned, use the hashtag SCA webinar, make tweets, make posts, tell your friends, let them know that this happened today, okay? And if you're here and you're not yet a member of Good Africa community, you can join with the link I'm going to be sending on the comments right now. You can sign up to become a member of the community, so you can also partake in other programs we have. And remember, the community is for females, sorry. So if you're a female here and you want to join a community of other product managers or software developers, feel free to sign up to join Code Africa community. So in the next few minutes, I guess Faith will come up with her favorite answer.
Okay, I'll pass the names across to Code Africa, and they'll get in touch with the person I selected.
Okay.
It was so nice talking to you guys today. I appreciate.
Hold on, please. Let me. Okay. All right then. Thank you all so much for joining today. Okay, we are rounding up already. So thank you all for holding on to this time. I hope you enjoyed this. Please spread the word, talk about what you learned today. And thank you so much, Faith, for being with us today and sharing all this with us today. We're so grateful. And we hope you all join us in our other programs, our chats, webinars, and other programs that will be coming up very soon. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. I guess we have to call it today, right? Bye. The link is saying 404. Sorry, that's bit.ly/SCA/sign up. It shouldn't tell you that. Well, Well, we will send it through the mail that will be coming to you. So no worries, no worries, no worries. Okay, the link she sent. Okay, she has resent it now. She has resent it now. She has resent it. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye. You're free to go now. We're
Okay,
done.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith. Thank you so much.